Good evening, and welcome to the Plastic Crack Podcast, Season 3, Episode, I want to say 39, but I'm probably wrong. No, I'm right. Hey, 39.
I thought we just guessed that every week anyway.
Yeah, no, I've just realised in the top left-hand corner it actually tells you the title of the video.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that before in my life. So now we got no excuse, and it's only taken us 3 seasons and probably 120, 130 episodes to figure that out. But yeah, so good evening and welcome. I'm your host tonight, Ken, from Miniature Wargaming Warriors, taking over the reins from Martin as Martin's recovering and he might have a coughing fit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So he's not too well. But I'm sure Martin will be back next week hosting. Is that right? Isn't it, Martin? Is it next week?
I'm hosting next week. Yeah, I've got the menu. Yeah, I'm next week, and then Dom, then Steve.
I'm Dom and Steve. Yeah. So yes, as you can tell, we are a man down this evening. Dom, he's where is he? Portugal.
He's up the tune.
He's up Newcastle again, is he?
Yeah,
he's ganning out Woo Tune.
I feel like I can say that because I actually know. Like, I told him that there was a couple of places that perhaps he just laughed. I don't think he's going out tonight.
No.
I think he's staying in.
No. Oh dear.
Gan on war biffer.
Yeah. So I'm sure Dom will probably be in the comments anyway. So
he should have gone in there on bonfire night. It would have been better if he got up there because we went up there one bonfire night to visit Haley's family, and it was like the Gulf War. They were just firing them off down the street at each other. It was ridiculous. It was just one side of the street, like launching them off at the other side of the street, and there was all in. Well, they said it was fun. I just cowered underneath a bed.
No, the town I grew up in, bonfire night is just national burn everything night. It's not if it's not nailed down. Even if it is nailed down, it's getting.
There you go.
Everything just gets burned.
Yeah. All right. Fair enough. That's what you get when you go up north.
Bit harsh, that. Bit harsh.
But just want to say thank you to everyone who's watching on the replay and the catch up. Thank you very much. You're very much appreciated. And yes, so tonight's main subject is going to be 3D printing. And is it time to say goodbye to your plastic, your resin, and your metal?
And Crackcon.
And Crackcon. Say bye to. Oh yeah, and Crackcon.
Oh right, I think we're getting rid of Crackcon. I was going to say what?
Oh yeah, and Crackcon.
It says Crackcon special in big letters across the thumbnail.
Yeah. So, the Crackcon special. Oh yeah, I forgot because that was the only one I had, so I had to stick it up because it was all last minute. But yes, we start tonight off. I'll just say a big hello to everybody that's in the chat. Oh my god, there's loads of viewers per usual. Absolutely loads. Everyone's chatting already. Have we got any awesomely good comments? So we got a few. I just
saw one about
Phew, I just made it. No painting for me tonight. I'm on vacation. I got a cigar, a bottle of bourbon, and really nice Italian roast coffee.
That's like my ultimate night in, Don. I'm very jealous. Oh, the last time I smoked a cigar, it sounds like Barry White for 2 days. I was like that. It really didn't go down very well. But bourbon and nice Italian roast coffee. Oh,
yeah,
jealous.
Yes, very jealous indeed. So we'll kick tonight off with. I'm going to pass over to Martin because Martin's got the lovely
OPC.
list OPC.
Yeah. OPC.
And he's gonna go through that.
Right,
so I'm going to pass straight over to Martin.
Wait, god damn it! I just
god damn it! Oh.
Yeah, I'm still a bit croaky. All right, I took the last of my antibiotics today, so it's
you survived! Yay!
Barely. Pneumonia is not fun, kids. It's not fun. What the hell am I doing? Oh yes, the OPC thing. Sorry.
Yeah, we'll start with the OPC, then we'll go around.
Start with the OPC. Yeah, let's have a look. Right. So, as always, the online painting challenge, which is sort of administered by Warren, Tony, Paul, and Bjorn, they put together OPC 10. So 10 months they've been doing this.
Right.
Was there a break? I think there might have been a break once. Nearly a year's worth of these, which is awesome. And their theme for October was terrain. And as he says, and as I can attest, due to the file size of what he sent me, they had a record-breaking 34 entries, which he squeezed into 24 pictures. So what we're going to do, we'll go through what everybody's done. Of course, if you guys, if you're new to the group or new to the stream, the online painting challenge is something that these guys very, very kindly put together, and it's a group build, a group challenge. There is no prize, and then once a month they send us all the entries, and then we show them all off on the stream. Usually, it's usually the first one of the month or the last one. And there's always a theme which is picked. So I think they've got the next 5 or 6 themes picked out. So this one was terrain. So let's kick things off. And I spent some time trying to make sure these are all in the right order. So we're going to start with Alex from Storm of Steel. He did terrain for Yayo Group.
Yayo Group.
Which is very nice. Which will probably also I like his greenhouse. Is that just a comment generally, or just the one the model? I like his greenhouse. I like it. Yeah, I like the greenhouse.
That is a nice greenhouse. Actually, it's a classy.
It's very large. It's a very nice sized greenhouse as well. I'm rather jelly. I wish that was in my back garden. I could grow a lot of veggies out of that.
It's a generous greenhouse. Everyone likes a generous greenhouse. No, that's very cool. And of course, you can see these over on Alex's channel as well, because he's doing plenty of updates. Also, Alex is he's only about 20 subscribers off about 9,000. So if you're not subscribed to Storm of Steel, go over there and take a look and give him a subscription and get him over 9K. He's also done some scatter terrain on bases as well, which I thought was really cool. Those are
that's a good idea.
Barrels. Oh, very cool.
Tiny barrels.
Are they jump off points for chain of command?
No, I think they're Yayo Group still.
Could they not be both?
They could be.
I just hurt my funny bone. Stupid. Sorry, I got Zulus everywhere, and
I was right. They are.
How many, Martin? How many have you got? How many?
There are thousands on my desk. Right. Next up, we have Bjorn, and I've just seen that there is one that's missing already, so I'll have to go and find that. So we have Bjorn, who's done a scratch built train station. I believe he did this for
scratch built
0-200 hours, I believe.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
That's some dedication.
Very cool. Very, very cool. I just like the wood and floors. I just think that's really cool, and the insane roof. That roof is nuts. It's very, very cool. And next up, we have Carl, who has done an evil lair.
Awesome. Yes, that's cool.
That's perfect
really
for D&D or Frostgrave or anything like that. That's fantastic. I saw a really good old school feel about it as well.
Yeah,
so
it just reminds me. It just reminds me of Skeletor. I don't know why.
Could it be the skulls?
Yeah, it could be the skulls.
Definitely the skulls.
Next up, so we've got 2 from Gaza. Gaza has done a German control tower. That's cool.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that's a nice kit.
That's very, very cool.
Very nice doggy.
Oh, right over the back. Yeah. So yeah. That's very cool. And then he's done some scatter terrain as well, which look really nice as well. Good. Always good to see scatter terrain. It's good on any battlefield. Next, Ian has done The End Is Nigh, circa 2023.
Oh, nice.
Is that the one from Fallout? Is that from the Fallout game?
No, it looks a bit Fallout.
It looks Fallout-y, but I think it's actually a custom kit. That's not the atomic whatever it is, the red rocket. It's probably an MDF kit from somebody, but it's very, very nice. I think it's quite cool.
That is very, very cool. Very cool.
We'll get on to Fallout later. That's interesting.
Oh, right. Okay. Next up, Jonas has done a searchlight using aluminium tape as reflective material, and that works really, really well.
That does work
amazingly well.
I have one of those to make up, and I'm going to be stealing that idea. So thank you very much, Jonas. That's awesome. So very cool. Next up, Joseph has done a 3D cabin and scatter terrain.
Oh, nice.
Very, very cool. I like how his version of scatter terrain is probably more terrain than goes on some of my entire tables. It's just awesome.
It's all about the 3D
Very,
print
very
nowadays.
nice. It certainly seems that way, doesn't it? Absolutely awesome. And now Ken, Yorkshire, has done some ocean terrain, and now if you go over to his channel, you can see how he's done these. Kabloom.
Yeah, this is really cool. I really like those. Really like those markers. They're really smart.
They are very, very cool. I mean, the thing is, though, a round dice is just going to knock off of those, isn't it? And just sort of like a pinball.
It is. Oh yeah, you could play pinball with it. That'd be good. That's a great idea.
They are very, very cool. If I played a boat game, then I definitely make it at any boat game. Just a boat game. No, very cool. Kevin has done a.
Oh yes, his lovely ship. His lovely ship as well. Shakers.
Oh yes, his lovely ship. Sure, yes, we should announce the ship. I mean, that's pretty much a piece of terrain on itself, the ship. But Kevin has done a scratch-built gun emplacement, and that is wicked.
Yeah, and that's what you want, Martin. You want that for your Napoleonics, don't you?
Yeah. Well, I want them to sell a battery in a pack with the emplacements like they do for the English Civil War. I just think it's I don't know, maybe I'm just being thick or something, but okay, that's just still, again, I've said it enough times. 15 more quid, add in resin bases, add in gun emplacements, you get some terrain, you get a cool looking thing. I think people would still buy it.
You're a happy person.
Exactly. Next up, we have Lee, who's done buildings for Marvel Crisis Protocol. Now, I really, really like these. That's nuts.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
I bet there's some size because the Marvel Crisis Protocol figures are pretty big anyway.
Well, if you look behind, if you look at the back, you can see some tester pots of paint. Now those tester pots aren't, they're a good twice the size of a normal pot.
Yeah, they're emulsion, aren't they?
Yeah, so they are wicked. I mean, and then he's also done some terrain for Necromunda.
Ooh,
nice. Yeah,
that's very cool.
No, that is cool. I like that.
That is awesome.
Like that.
Good old Necromunda. Next up, Matthew has done a 10mm Saint Marie Inglaise church, which is the one that I accidentally put up. Look at that! Look at the lights.
Blimey, right.
Sorry, you got Sam Maraglise. Yeah. Well, Sam Marag. Yeah, you maybe could chuckle them.
Yeah,
it's very nice, man. What is it? 20mm, 28?
10.
10? Did you say? 10?
Shut up, Maraglise. Yeah, it's 10mm.
Really?
10mm. Yeah.
That is really is
written down. Yeah, it's 10mm. It's amazing.
That's more than
really, really nice. Nick has scratch built some 17th century Scots manor houses.
Ooh,
that's so cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That is nice.
That is very.
Is that
cool.
6mm?
28.
There we go.
Right. Oh, sorry, I couldn't see. I can't see your face. I can't tell if you're joking. And I believe these are also. Oh no, there's the places. Oh, bugger! No,
put them in the wrong order, did you?
No. Warren labelled them wrong. Thank you. I'm not taking the blame for that.
Hashtag blame Warren.
Hashtag I blame Warren when you watch this, Warren. Right. There we go. So Pat has done a Normandy church and bridge, which is very cool.
Oh, that's very cool.
Normandy church.
I believe the bridge is by our friends at Warbase, isn't it?
I think so. I think you're right, actually, Steve. I think you could be right there.
Cool. Sorry, I've just seen Yorkshire. I just clicked on the comments because I knew that was going to be in there, so I thought I just had to bring it out. Had to bring it out. That's very, very nice. Next up, Paul has done a Viking hut. That's very cool. I love all like the detritus outside, like the pots and the pans and the fireplace. I really, really like that. There needs to be more pottery on people's tables. I've got a whole load of little jars and things which I used to use for D&D that I stack up on crates. Yeah. I just like them. But now they're handily something that can be 3D printed very, very easily. So that's something else to come on to. Paul has done a large figure base featuring a lonely cactus. I feel like that's not like a term for an art exhibit. It's amazing. But I like that. That's kind of like the description you would get on something if you walk around, And here we have a large figure base featuring the lonely cactus. but it's very cool. I mean, that is awesome. That is very cool. Properly arid.
It's like a diorama sort of base, isn't it? Really?
Yeah, I think he's got a Harlequin. I think there's a Harlequin on that.
Oh yeah, there was. It was that really really awesome Harlequin that he painted. I think that went on it.
Oh, nice. That is very cool.
Very cool. Next up, Stephen has done a ruined farmhouse. I think that's also another really good kit by Warlord. That ruined.
That ruined farmhouse is a good kit. I will give.
Didn't it go out? It goes out. Did it go out of like? It goes out of stock really quick because you get 3 of them in the actual box.
Yeah, I bought the ruined Hamlet one, but yeah, you're right. It does. It seems to be one of the things that it flies off the shelves because it's. I mean, it's really it's modular as well. I mean, you don't have to build it the way that it comes. So
I think that's the Brucey bonus, isn't it? That is modular.
Yeah, absolutely. Next, Tim has done a farmhouse.
Oh,
very nice. It's nice because it's got added garden.
I know.
That's always good. Added garden is always good, especially I like the path. I like the effort that has gone into actually the creation of the garden. I think that's ace.
There's been time taken, hasn't there? To
exactly. It looks realistic. That's the thing. It looks real. It looks lived in. That's what I like. And then Tony has done a rocky outcrop, which is always good, and I like it. He's got some romance.
Oh yeah. Oh nice. Yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that's meant to be Emin Muil from just outside Rohan, where they're running through all the rocks and stuff.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's a good show.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. That's yeah. Tony Phillips has continued this theme, and he's done some elven ruins, which are very cool.
Oh, nice.
Is that a classic wood elf I see on top of there as well?
Looks like it,
with the massive. I think it looks like a classic wood elf. Before they all became basically symbiotic trees.
No bitterness there.
No, none at all. And then finally we have Warren with some 20 mil townhouses with added gardens. So very nice. I mean, they do, don't they? They're very, very cool. Now, I don't know if these are prints, if he's printed these, or if these are bought, but I'm sure he'll be able to tell us. So, right now, there is one more, which for some reason either hasn't uploaded. So give me just 2 seconds, and I will have a look.
We'll have a quick look at the comments, see what's going on.
Have a quick look at the comments, and I will just check if this one is. If not, I might have to go and find it online. But yeah, go through the comments. See what people are saying.
Just saying. Look, Holy Creed, that Marvel stuff. Yeah, John. Yeah, that Marvel stuff was very good. Not gonna lie.
Yes,
it was pretty bloody awesome. To be fair, I do like that. So it's a game that doesn't get much. Well, I say it doesn't get much love. It's not really our sort of demographic per se in the group, is it? The Marvel stuff.
No, I mean the miniatures look up. I mean, I've always wanted
the Marvel game
to test it, but I think that the starting point.
It's buying into it and all that jazz, isn't it?
I really my problem. I think my problem with it. I mean, I'd love to play it. I just want someone else to buy it. I want someone else to buy it, make up all the boards, and play. I think my problem with it is that I have in the I'm less invested in Marvel. I like a few heroes, and that's it. I like a few characters. And
do you prefer DC then? Do you like DC? Do you? Or...
Yeah, I prefer DC. Yeah.
I am more. Yeah, I am more. I've got to admit, I am more Marvel. I do like Marvel superheroes.
I just like Batman. Like I like the idea to
I've never been a massive Batman man. To be fair, not for me. I do prefer more Marvel-y sort of stuff.
When it comes to Marvel, for me, it's got to be the old school. Everyone in spandex. That's the Marvel item. Maybe that just says a lot about me, really. But that's the one I did.
I did watch. There's one of these funny videos. I know we're getting a bit off topic here, but I just one of these funny videos where they do that agree to disagree thing, where they get 2 people in a pub and they move their. Have you seen it? When they move their points about and they basically agree and disagree. They get a Marvel fan and a DC fan to sit opposite each other, and they basically say they put on their who is the strongest hero, and they basically even both agreed that given prep time, Batman would beat God himself. with prep time, with preparation time. I just found the missing one, so I do apologize for that. And this is Barry, who has done some saga scenery, which is very cool because I did see these when he put these up in the
Wow,
group.
nice.
You've got marshes and rough ground and hills, and quite a lot of the time in the saga scenarios, the hills are like actual objectives. So I really like seeing them as like single pieces. I just love that they're all on like plugs that you can remove. I really like that. So you can take all of those out and like put your figures in them. So that is very, very cool. So guys, remember, if you are not in the Facebook group, you can join the Facebook group. If Ken hasn't put the link down below, then you can just search for the Plastic Crack Podcast on Facebook and join us there. OPC 11. Every time I say OPC, all I can think about is Robocop, but that's OCP, isn't it?
OCP.
I'm the same.
OPC's theme is old and forgotten. The idea is to find a sad, old, neglected figure and give it a coat of paint. So, guys, we've got to paint Dom.
I'll give you that. That's good. I like
Cool.
that. I like that a lot. Yeah.
I did listen back to a stream last week of the ribbing I got off everyone bar Steve. So thank you, Steve. I did hear that, how you said you were going to be nice to me, and then the other two were just bastards. So it's all right. But yes, so guys, if you want to go and take part in it, the team is old and forgotten. Find some kind of sad, old, neglected figure and paint in your collection, which would be fantastic. So there we go. So guys, thank you very much for sending all those in. Cheers, Warren, Tony, Paul, and Bjorn for putting it all together.
Awesome. Cheers, guys. Thank you.
Cool. Now back to the regular broadcasted show. So this week, chaps, what have we been up to then? Should we start with you? Steve?
Yes, I finished something.
Oh, go on.
A whole army. Where are we?
Like the sound of that.
I finished my Lion Rampant English.
Very good.
There we go.
Well done.
Cool.
Awesome, man.
That's 24 points right there. 24 points. So it's 2 units of archers and 2 units of elite infantry.
Yeah.
And do you know what? These were bloody good fun to paint and put together. I really enjoyed building these. And the basing as well. Because I've got those the 50 mil bases.
Yeah.
You can really go to town on the making them look a bit pretty. But yeah, so I'm starting my French because these were I just flew through these. And I'm still continuing to read that book about the 100 Years' War, and every page is depressing and as miserable as the last. Just
it's interesting, the 100 Years' War, because I really like it. I listened to this through that series. I really enjoyed it, and you like it as well, Mike. But you just prefer Wars of Roses, don't you?
Well, it's not that. It's
depending what it is, isn't it?
I'm really interested in 100 Years' War. It's the 100 Years' War is us, starting off, having a war with France and then getting our asses kicked, and then the Wars of the Roses is, hang on, we got beaten by everyone else. Let's just turn on each other. So the Wars of the Roses is just the epilogue to the 100 Years' War.
100 Years' War, yeah.
Which is why I like it. But there's that new book by Dan Jones, isn't there? It's out called Essex. Was it Essex Dogs or Essex?
No,
I think it's called Essex Story. It's a new historical novel, by the historian Dan Jones.
Yeah, Dan Jones.
Yeah. He's written a novel, and it follows a group of like English archers from Essex as they go into the 100 Years' War. It's on audiobook now. I need to listen to it. It looks quite good. I am interested in it, but I just prefer my brutality with less chivalry. Which is
exactly. That's what I quite like about the 100 Years' War, is the chivalry part of it. I do quite like that.
Yeah, the English start now bollocks to it. Let's just go and knife everyone. Yeah. What's interesting about this? I finished this on Saturday afternoon, and for the first time in ages, see the leader chap there. He's not historically accurate. He's actually from the Wars of the Roses box something. It's the first miniature I think in over a year I've just sat down and painted in one session.
Oh, nice!
Literally just sat down. I put it on the Facebook group. I had lots of Vimto. I had the PCP playlist going, and I just sat down and painted that all afternoon and finished basing the rest of them. And it's done. And tonight I'm starting on my 3 French crossbowmen.
I think I'm seeing him at the weekend, so I think there might be a red card in person.
Another development. Remember what I was talking about last week? Well, it arrived.
Ooh.
Oh,
Who you seeing at the weekend?
Dom, and you.
Oh, of course you are, yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Back to normality. So I wasn't expecting. My mate was talking about this because he's a big English Civil War fan.
Yeah,
we wanted something a bit different. So what we decided to do is Pikeman's Lament in 15 mil. And I went through one of my bits boxes, one of my stash boxes, and I found a load of 15 mil Peter Pig stuff from the English Civil War.
Really?
Yeah,
I've got handy, innit?
I've got command. I've got 3 guns. I've got an entire unit of gallopers, as they are in Pikeman's Lament. I think I bought these. God, it must have been the year I moved here, which is 2011. So these must be. I must have had these for 11 years and never done anything with them.
Peter Pig makes a really nice English Civil War stuff as well.
Yes, I mean I've got some pikemen and musketeers, but I don't know what I was doing back then. It looks like I painted them with my feet in the dark. Shockingly awful painted figures. Just embarrassing to look at. So I've got to do an order with Peter Pig in the next couple of weeks. My mate, on the other hand, went back to his mum's house, and he literally found an entire Covenanter army that he'd bought 11 years ago and not used any of it. So he's a happy chap. So yeah, the outlay is basically going to be a couple of rule books and about 20 quid on figures, and that's it. We're done. So we're doing doing that in 15 mil. But yeah, the rules are very, very similar to Line Rampant. It's like a progression of Line Rampant. So instead of like army, you have stamina. But the campaign system looks brilliant as well, where you wrote your officer and you get honor during the campaign system. So really looking forward to it. But that's on the sort of back burner while I work on my French Line Rampant. And on the DAC front, I've ordered another Panzer IV. So there'll be another update video for that coming soon. I was going to use the resin one, but I've decided that it's pretty much unusable. It's just cast so badly.
Scenery? Is it going to be a bit of scenery?
I might do it. I might take to it with a hammer.
Comment for you there, Stu.
Oh, cheers, Dan.
Sorry. So Dan's just saying how amazed he was by Steve's SAS figure he put out on YouTube during the week.
Yes, Rogue Heroes has definitely inspired me to look at my SAS again. So I think I'm going to be getting, because I've got all the infantry for them. I've got all 3. I've got 3 sections of command. I just need to add the some vehicles. Definite inspirado from that program though. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. But that was my week anyway.
Oh, very nice. What about yourself, Martin?
Hang on, again, clean my brush. So so the last 2 weeks, the first of the weeks
2 weeks,
was quite uneventful because I was trying to keep my lungs inside my body, which was actually quite difficult. One, I guess I don't know if it's a plus side, but one of the side effects of my medication I'm on is insomnia. So I've been
that's always handy.
Wide awake at various times of the night. Anyway, so I have actually managed to do some stuff, and I've actually done all of this that I'm going to show you in the last 3 days. One of the things I did, so I was building these on the stream when we had Glenn on from War Bases, and I used the Dark Age archers and slinger set from Victrix, mixed in some Norman and Saxon bits to make a levy unit for my Crusaders.
Oh, nice!
Because I wanted a unit that was less, should we say, knightly, less, well armed. And there's quite a lot of evidence in the Crusades for basically loads of peasants, or I just like to think of them as like just yokels that would basically find a knight and just follow him about a bit. And it would be like his own little personal army, but not like proper retainers. They'd just be like hangers on, and they'd just follow this knight about. And there's quite a few examples of that in the Crusades. So I stuck with one guy one sort of knight who I actually used a Saxon body for him, and then just fitted all the others around them, and then mixed in different arms and that, because most of them are meant to have archer's arms or slinger's arms, but a lot of these sets are quite interchangeable now. The Victrix ones, I'm getting used to them, so quick bit of trimming here, and you can have people with sort of quite nasty looking butcher's cleavers and slings and that. So I just, they won't be very good in the game. They'll just be like, probably a bit of a meat shield unit, but I thought they just had a bit more character and also a bit more of a looser formation. Once I'd finished those, I had a moment of madness. And I've had the Saxon command sprue for the Victrix miniatures comes with a priest. And if anyone has seen Robin's priest, if anyone's seen Robin's priest, cool. It's actually quite a nice thing. You can actually set them up in a couple of ways. So I stuck him together, and then I kind of had this bizarre idea in my head of almost like a historical novel forming on the spot, but I'm hoping this is going to form part of the story in our campaign. That's not him. There he is. So I stuck him on a base with a Norman on one side and a Saxon on the other. And I could just in my head see some kind of bizarre story where a Saxon and a Norman having to escort this guy across Europe in the First Crusade to get into
that's really cool.
To Jerusalem. But I wanted them to look.
Do you know what that reminds me of, dude? Do you know what that reminds me of? The books from the 100 Years' War where they've got the Scot and the Englishman.
Yeah,
and he goes into service to him, doesn't he? And
yeah,
they have
exactly.
to take the priest. Yeah, that's really cool. That's really cool.
But I think we might be able to introduce this in the war game, whereby this base is actually quite a character. So we're going to have a named Saxon and a named Norman. And then this led to, with the help of Insomnia, I sat there for 3 hours the other night reading all about the 15 companions of William the Conqueror and what happened to his, like, all these various children, trying to find some like bastard child that I could make the Norman. But I wanted them to look battle worn and a bit bloody, like they'd actually been in a fight. And I thought I'm going to give the Saxon the Dane axe, and the Norman give him the shields and that, and then the priest behind him. So who knows what they'll do in the game? Maybe we'll give them some rules, and it'll all be told from their point of view as they try to get to the Holy Land or something. But I thought that was quite fun. There's only 3 of them on the base, but it was just quite a nice little. It's almost a little story on the base, so I liked doing that. Then I stuck together and painted 4 more of the late Romans from Victrix, and these are lovely. These are really, really good to just have going in the background. And the 3 of these, the 3 from the right, are going to be my new characters for Dux Britannia, and the older ones can just become warriors now. I don't care about them anymore. These ones are going to be my characters, and again, this is swapping a few pieces around from the kit. And this is my version of Arthur. So that's my Arthur. That's my King Arthur.
Oh, very nice.
And so he's got like a Germanic head, mixed in with one of the Arthurian bodies, mixed in with one of the more Germanic arms, and then this guy who I gave the proper goth head with. I don't know how I managed to do it, but he's got a proper like scowl. I don't know how I managed to do that. So I was pleased with him. So that might be, for those who read the Warlord Chronicles, that might have to be my Derval Kadan. So if you read those, that's the guy who's sort of the point of view character for all of those novels. And then I did some other stuff.
Yeah, mine. You're on it.
Yeah, I know. I know. In 3 days as well, I'd just like to add. So my good friend Luke, who put on the Burrows and Badgers games at Crackcon, one of the games which we haven't played, but everyone seems to have models for over here, is Spectre Ops. Modern Warfare one. And now I know Travis over at Tabletop CP, he's done quite a few battle reports, and I'm a massive Metal Gear Solid fan. So I like the idea of this kind of near future. Very near future, like a couple of years, not his. And he'd given me an insurgent kill team a few months ago, so I just painted them up because I had the stuff out for I had the basing mix and that out for the Crusade, so I thought, why not? I get those in. So these are 6 insurgent kill team. I don't know what they do in the game. I don't know how good they are in the game. I know nothing about them, but they were fun to paint. They were just. It was quite fun. There we go.
Why not?
So I'd quite like to have a go at the game. I've watched Travis's battle reports, and it does look good fun. I liked his John Wick one when he's trying.
Oh God, yeah.
John Wick and running around. So it's something I'd like to give a go at some point for sure. So yeah, that's what I've done. So I was actually quite pleased with that. I know. On top of that, I did a whole bunch of reading and research again at 3 a.m. when I couldn't sleep. Wikipedia got a pounding through me just scrolling through, going down one of those holes of research.
Crazy,
so yeah, it was all good fun. And then there's a couple of other things, but I'm sure we'll come on to those later. So anyway, yeah, there you go. That's my stuff.
That's cool, man. Right, so for me this week, it's been pissing about with the printer, trying to get set. I got settings down to pretty much where I wanted it, but then I got annoyed and wasn't happy with certain aspects of the printer. But I did get some painting done. Look, where's the bloody picture gone? Okay, so first of all, I'll just show you what I've been printing. So printed out these.
Heresy era.
Yeah, Heresy. I've always wanted to do Heresy. I've always wanted to do a Heresy sort of army. And I've been pissing about, as you guys know, I told you that I've been messing about with the bolt action rules to try and make points up to be able to play with your Warhammer models in bolt action. Just so I can use them as they're like proxy models, but give it a little bit of a 30k/40k twist. The bases as well, they're resin printed bases, so I've got rid of all my normal standard bases. So any bases now that I do are going to be printed. So they're all that's all printed there. Really impressed with those. But then I thought, so I'm doing the Blood Angels. I thought, so who can I do against them? Who do I want traitor wise? And then I decided to go Death Guard.
So nice.
I found some Death Guard models, and yeah, they are again. I haven't painted this guy up, but the detail on him, as you can see, it's just incredible.
I'm not taking the piss, right? But genuinely, has he got like a vegetable for a head?
Yeah, it is kind of. Yeah, it's kind of. It's just a Nurgle. It's like a Nurgle.
Yeah, it's like a plague bearer kind of like one eye.
Yeah,
it's just from here it genuinely does look like a vegetable.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
definitely have to paint that carrot. You've got to paint that like a carrot.
But to be fair, the detail you get, as you can see, it's like pretty insane. And I found the guy that done these. These are free, by the way. These are completely free. But he's done a software where you can, if you're a patron of his, you can get his software and you can make your own poses. So
I've seen people who have done that on other things, but I've never actually had a go with any of it.
Yeah, so I've had a go and messing around with weapons and I'm making my own unique figures now. Completely unique to me because obviously there's no other person that's done them. So Bolt. That's a really good name. Bolter Action. You know what? That is a cracking name. I like that. Bolter Action. Yeah, I like that. That's good. But he, like I say, awesomeness. This is just the basics, just getting there. So I want to do 2 forces. I want to do I can do whatever I want. Really, it's crazy. I want to. This is the thing we were printing, and we'll come on to this all in a minute. But actual finished painting wise, I finished my Blood Angel.
Oh, he's really nice. Well, I like that. Very nice.
So again, nice. Yeah. I was very happy. You can tell.
I think if Dom was here, he'd be sat on glazed eyes, like he just wouldn't be able to comprehend all the weirdness that's going on.
Yeah, no, it's crazy, isn't it? But
that is cool.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, and it's 3D printed. It's insane.
That is really, really nice.
I put together one of the actual GW kits, and I put it next to it, and I'm like, I really can't tell a difference unless you literally. Well, even then it's hard unless you're like this. Well, you can't even focus that close. You have to be like here, but you still can't tell it's a 3D printed model.
But again, 3 foot away on the table.
Yeah, if it's
unless you're entering into a painting competition.
If it's there, you can't tell. Like there, you can't. You can't tell anyway. I guarantee you wouldn't be able to tell.
Martin's medication appears to be coke. I've been given to be fair, on Thursday I got prescribed a new inhaler, and I haven't had an inhaler since I was about 12. So who knows? It is a powder inhaler. Just saying. And then I seem to have got productive. So
it's crazy, isn't it? But I didn't stop there in that regard. I'm into my trains and stuff like that. Funny that I decided to try and work out a way of saving some money.
That doesn't sound like you at all.
Not in the slightest. No.
Tell me more.
So I've found out that I can print railway wagons. Put my own metal wheels on the bottom, and they're just as good as the plastic wagons you can buy for like a tenner each. So, and this cost me like 26p instead. So I'm now printing these out instead of actually buying them, because why would I buy them again? It's crazy, really. And I've started pissing about with these as well to try and make my own customizable ones. So I started using a bit of Blender and been messing about with that. But yeah, no, I'm just blown away by what 3D printing is doing at the moment. Just absolutely astonished at it. Absolutely crazy. But that was my week. What we got going on in the comments? Does it? You can create if you can create your own posters by YMCA Marines. There's no reason you couldn't. Yes, you could do Brother Ken heads. Yes, we'll get onto all that in a minute.
Brother Ken heads. Jesus.
It's a yeah. No, we're leaving John's comment away.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. Custom trains, yes, very much so. But yeah, no, it was a good week. I very much enjoyed it. Something different. I didn't want it to turn into another little hobby, but it's kind of getting that way, and I don't want it to be.
I think it's unavoidable, though. Really, is.
I think it is.
A piece of kit. It's like when you start editing, though, and you're doing the YouTube videos. It just becomes another part of the hobby because you start learning more things.
I know, and it's really annoying because I just want to be able to push the go button, and it's nice because it's getting me to paint again, which is really nice. I'm really proud of that Space Marine. That's my first ever proper Space Marine I painted. You wouldn't believe that. Yeah,
really.
First proper Space Marine I've done. So yeah, well happy about that, and I don't think it was a bad job either. To be fair, I think it was
really good.
No, I was quite happy with that. I take more time with the characters and stuff like that, but like I say, I'm just going to make it so I can play it with bolt action because it would be nice to play with some of my 30-40k models.
It's a whole another hobby. It's great when you see something come out well.
Oh, it's awesome. Yeah, there's nothing.
I'd argue that's kind of like fatherhood.
Yeah.
But you've got to wait 18 years to see if that prints out all right.
So this is a nice comment that will get us into the main topic tonight. So 3D printing. Would you say it's cheaper overall to print at home compared to buying? This is very, very interesting.
Buying prints or buying?
If you're talking about buying normal models, depending on how much you spend and how well, if you were starting wargaming today as a young person and just taking it up, and you're going to have, well, I'd say 5-10 years worth, 5 years worth of hobby, you're definitely going to do it. I'd say invest in a 3D printer and learn to print your miniatures. Don't buy them anymore. That's my honest opinion. If I was doing it again, if you're tight on money, it's worth the initial investment because the amount of stuff that's out there for free, model wise, is insane. It's absolutely nuts. And even paying stuff, it's cheap as chips. The STL files are cheap as chips, and once you bought them, and when I say STL file, it means the actual file of the miniature. What made you laugh?
I'll just put it up.
Oh, dearie me.
Right. Yes. Back to oh dear, I like that. That's funny. So yeah, back to it. But I think if you're gonna start out and you want customizable stuff as well, so it's not generic models, I really think 3D printing is the way to go now. I generally do. It's like all my models, all my plastic stuff. I can't be bothered with scraping mold lines off. That's another bonus. You don't scrape mold lines off on these. That's it.
Ken,
Yeah, go on.
what's gonna happen when we get the Perrys back on the podcast?
I think they're going to learn to go 3D printing, mate. I think they're going to adapt to the market. I reckon they will because they've done 3D STLs, haven't they? For
One.
they've
one.
they've done it. They did the cat. Yeah, but it's his favorite miniature. We'll put that out there. But I genuinely, I really think that if the market goes that way, they'll go that way as well. I think businesses will adapt.
Well, to be fair, they are. I mean, I got to be honest. The privateer press have jumped on that because of the they. Let's be fair, they're fairly pricey. They're equivalent to GW in price easily. Privateer press, but they've now jumped on it, which is they're basically licensing sellers in the UK or other territories to print their products at a market price so that you can then get them. And obviously it's much reduced. They're not selling the STLs yet, but they are making them available to third party traders. So
it's unbelievable the amount of quality of STLs you can get, even the free stuff. You know what I mean? It's just insane. There's some people out there, there's some really, really talented people that just enjoy wargaming and just stick stuff up for free. And it's like insane. Look at that guy there. With the Marines. It's insane. But now I've got those, I can never have them taken off of me. So that's the other thing. Once you've got the file, that's it. You never have to worry about not being able to print it ever again, because once you physically get the file on your computer, you've got it.
Excuse me.
The ball game comes in with this because a lot of people print these and then sell them. You have to be very careful around that. You have to have the rights to be able to print it. If you've not made the miniature, you have to get permission, obviously, because it's copyright. It's someone's property. You can't just print minis off and sell them. It's not ethical for a start, and because it's not your work.
Yeah, a lot of the 3D sculptors, so like the Reconquer Designs chap, that the one who does the really, really nice Normans and Reconquista and Saracen stuff that I love. He licenses his stuff out to sellers, and he keeps a license list on his website. So for people who can't 3D print, he has a list on there, and there's a couple on there, including Graham from Grey Green Customs, which is where I get my stuff from. What I used to anyway. You can send out those licenses, but those licenses are yearly. So you have to renew them, but which is fair enough, because that's a license to everything he is creating. And if he's creating, he's doubling his catalog, say, each year. I mean, the guy's Patreon is insane, the amount of models he puts out. And you have access to all of that.
Yeah, that's the thing. I was going to come on to the whole thing of that Patreon. That's another massive thing. But Leslie's got an interesting question here. So, what do you do with all the waste chemicals that you use to clean your prints? So that's a very good question, Leslie, and I'll give you that. So traditionally, you would use isopropanol alcohol, so 99.9% stuff here in the UK, to actually clean it. And then what would happen is that uncured resin would end up building up into the isopropanol alcohol, and you'd leave it in the sun to cure. Basically, the resin would separate from the alcohol, and it would cure, and it would go hard. And once it's gone hard, you can just chuck it in the bin. It's fine. New resins, some of them are now water-based, washable. So the one I've got at the minute is a water wash resin, but I still clean it with alcohol because I had alcohol with me. But I have cleaned it with water. It's not a problem. So it's the same process again. What you do is you take it out the once it gets cloggy and dirty, the water, you take it outside, leave it in the sunlight, let it cure, and again just chuck it away per se, and you filter out the water and dispose of it properly. So there's no resin. But yes, you will always have that problem of people that don't look after or get rid of their resin properly.
You can get plant-based resin now, can't you?
You can get plant-based resin as well. So biodegradable resin. That is another thing. So you can go down that route. You don't have to go with the nasty ABS sort of type resins if you don't want to. But I say nasty, they're not nasty if they're handled properly. If you handle stuff properly, like it's like resin. If you get it on your hand, you build up. It's not dangerous per se. It's an irritant. So you have to wear gloves because your body will over time become allergic to it. and that's how it things. So you don't want to build up your body touching resin all the time, if that makes sense. You want to be wearing gloves, well ventilated room, for example. You don't want to be breathing all the fumes in, or wearing a mask. So now I've got my printer on next to me. I've got the window open, like cracked, so there's air coming in. But I've got a filter in there, so it's filtering out loads of crap. So that's why I'm sat here without a mask on. So it's fine. It's fine with me. But no, that's a very good. It's a very good point. But it's the same with other stuff.
We were talking. Sorry.
Yeah, we were talking about this. Yeah, so we'll start off at the very beginning, and we will get to this. So we'll start off right. So you're brand new to wargaming, or you've been wargaming a while, okay? And you think, oh my god, this is a minefield, right? And you see a miniature like I've just put up, and you think, wow, that's 3D. I want to be able to do that in my house. And you think, right, where do I start? Okay, so the first thing you want to do is research straight off the bat. So YouTube is a great place. Be very careful in regard to certain channels. Look for the paid promotion stuff, because obviously you want to look for honest reviewers. There's a couple that I'll recommend on the Facebook group that I found quite useful. But everyone has different priorities and what you're using for printers. So Martin will probably agree with me with this. If you're printing miniatures, you might be better for a certain printer. If you're printing more terrain, you might be better with a different printer. For example, I've got the 8K Saturn II. The reason I bought that is because I wanted the bigger print bed. I wanted a big print bed. I've had a resin printer before with a small bed, but I wanted one with a big bed. So that's why I went with that. But we'll explain what the difference between 2K, 4K, and 8K is. So you've been doing a bit of research on this as well, dude, haven't you?
Yeah. For reasons that will probably become obvious eventually.
Yeah.
So I was looking at this because, of course, obviously it's the 4K. It's people can put up things, say, oh, it's a 4K, it's an 8K, it's a 6K, it's a selling point. But just like a TV or phone. But obviously it's the size of the screen and the print bed. Because if you've got 8K stretched over a really large
screen, so mine's a 10. Mine's a 10-inch screen. Yes. So so it's actually all about the micron per pixel, isn't it?
Exactly. So it's going to be no more detailed than a 4K that's half the size. It'll be exactly the same level of detail, because it's the same number of microns. So it's actually the micron count, which is mattering. Is the big one. And that's where you come down to. So you might have a printer that is like I was looking at the Frozen 4K Mini, I think it's called, and then I was looking at the Saturn II, and I think the difference is 6 microns, something like that.
Yeah, it's nothing really. Mine's 28. It's like 34, isn't it?
Exactly, but because the print bed is smaller, terrain wouldn't be an option. Well, it might for 20mm terrain or 15mm terrain. Yes,
yeah, 28 is it's a bit of a hard one. But you do have a vertical print. You can print up, but then it all comes into the support thing, which I'm learning out a lot at the moment. So 2K, 4K, 8K. Again, like Martin says, it's all to do with your micron print count. I'll give you a good example of this. Let me just see if I can get it up.
I say as well, the problem is also as well at the minute, I think because so many people are getting into it, there's almost a saturation of information. There's so much information out there.
Oh, it's a scary thing, and you don't know who to believe, and it's it's a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's a lot of money when you first start out. Do you know what I mean? Print round. You can print round, guys. Do you know what? Now you've said that, it might be an option now. So let's go to. Oh, for God's sake! I had it up just a second. What have I done with it now?
Red Surf raises a good point. Saves on posted.
It does,
absolutely.
It does. All right, so I'll share my screen now. So can you see my screen?
Yep.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let me just so I can see the screen as I'm doing it. So lost it. There it is. Yeah. So okay. So this is basically a measurement of each pixel size. So for the Saturn II, it's 28.5 microns. Okay. And the reason that is important, as I'll show you in a minute, it's about formula for getting less lines in your print. So that compared to mil is something like 0.02 millimeters. So it's tiny if you're talking mil. I wouldn't even want to think that what that was in what you would class that in inches. It would be ridiculously small. So that's the Saturn II. So we'll just use that because that's the printer I've got. If so, people say to me, "But don't you get layer lines?" Yeah, do you know the lines that you get that you can see throughout, right? I did a bit of research there. It took me about an hour and a half, but I finally worked it out, and I've done a couple of prints, and it's worked. So to get rid of those layer lines, okay, what you have to do is there's a formula, okay. It's Arcom, and then it's 20, whatever your micron is. So, for example, mine's 28.5, yeah, and then you divide it by whatever the layer line you're printing. So for me, if I want to get a perfect 45-degree angle, like put my print, so for example, if I had it like this, if I had it straight, okay, if I didn't want any layer lines, if I put it at 45 degrees and I matched that, I wouldn't get any layer lines. Yeah, the perfect angle to print would be that, and I'm going to do a video on everything like that. So it's a lot of information to take in, but it is a bit of a minefield. But once someone explains it to you as you go through the sequencing, it becomes a little bit easier. But there's so many different things, but it all depends on what you want to do, isn't it? So if we're just talking about us and miniatures, for me, yeah, I think you're right, Martin. I think a 4K, if you're just going to print minis, I think that'd be fine. So you've got something like you've got the Frozen.
There's
8K,
the Frozen 4,
4
4K Mini, Elegoo, 3 Mars.
There's the Mars. Well, I had the Mars. I had
thing.
the Mars originally, or the original Saturn is round about the same price for that. But again, there you go. So the original Saturn's got a bigger build plate. It's 4K, but its microns are bigger than what the Mars is. So the screen LCD, because the screen's bigger, it's got a higher micron count than the Mars does, because the Mars has got a smaller build plate, like you were saying, but they're both 4K. Yeah, so the Mars would give you more detail than say the Saturn would. But in all fairness, you can't really tell the difference. I've printed stuff with this 8K resin, and I've printed stuff with just normal resin, and you can tell slightly. Like if I was doing busts or something like that, I'd probably use the more expensive stuff, go for the 8K, or if I wanted the big sort of like build space, I'd go for the 8K. But if not, I'd definitely just stick with the 4. But it's the initial outset, so you've got to pay for the printer. You then pay for the resin. You then pay, which I would recommend getting a wash and cure station.
Have you got one of those?
Yes, I have. Yeah.
What about your electric bill?
No, it's not much. It's not as much what you think it would be. So you can work out your wattage per hour and how much it is. My thing, when it's printing, costs about 3p an hour, maybe. It's not a huge amount. So it works out. So you add that onto the miniature price. If a mini takes 6 hours to print, for example, it's that 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 3, what is it? Fucking hell. 6 threes. What am I talking about? 18. Oh god. Oh god. So yeah, add another 18p onto the cost. Which again still is, next to nothing. So for example, if I filled up the bed I've got can take 10 Marines, yeah. So a box of Marines. And I think a box of Heresy Marines now is 45 quid. Okay. Don't 100% quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's £45. Tell me in the comments if I'm wrong. Right? It actually takes 3 hours to print those out. Okay, so you're looking at 9p for the electric. The amount of resin it uses, it was 76 pence of resin. So
per mini?
No, for the whole thing.
Oh, okay.
For all 10. So for 76p's worth of resin, plus the 18 pence, you're looking at £1 for something that's going to cost 45 quid. So if you look at it like that, and the return on investment, yes, it's a big outgoing at first. Don't get me wrong, it is. Your printer can cost you anything up to £600. But if you look at it long term, how long is it going to take to spend 600 quid on minis? Maybe 6 months, a year. And this is the other thing, flexibility. So now I've got this printer, I can play any game system I want. Anything I want to paint or print, I can do it. So anything from 2mm up to 54mm, whatever size, I can do it. If I want proxies for something, that's it. If I want to start a new game out, there's files for it. There's files for this. And that's what I was saying about the Fallout. So for Fallout, there's literally everything that the game has. So people have done their own versions of the STL files of like the different wanderers and stuff like that, ghouls and all that sort of stuff. You can print everything out, all the terrain, everything, and you can just play the game. You just need to buy the rule book. So you're still supporting the company by buying the rules. Yeah. But you're going on that route of making individual independent armies. It's like Lord of the Rings. If you want to do like a really cool Tolkien-esque Lord of the Rings style army for orcs, for example, you've got that option. And if you can't find them for free, people do them and sell them for cheap as chips. All right. So those bases you saw, okay, I couldn't find any bases that I really, really wanted. I wanted these wasteland bases, and I couldn't be bothered to look. There's 16 varieties of bases in 32mm and then in 25mm. I've got STL files for. They cost me 99 pence. It's just a no-brainer. So they're the bases that I wanted, or you can get someone to commission you stuff. I've asked a guy to commission about these box fans, these trained box fans, to make them a little bit different. I'm starting to work out how to use Blender a bit better, so I'll probably be able to do it myself. But he was quoting me something like, what was it, 20 quid, because they're so basic, to design a box fan for me, like train one like this, and give me the files and give me the rights to the files. So there's nothing stopping me then printing these out en masse and selling them, because they're mine. Yeah, there's no copyright or anything like this, because the guys designed them for me, and this cost me 73p to make this. Where if you went to a model railway shop, these are like 15 quid. And I can't, and I'm fussy. I'm fussy, and I can't tell the difference. So if it's good enough for me, I know it's good enough for other modelers.
I think the thing is interesting. I mean, there are a couple of companies like Footsore with the Barons Wars. They've actually released. Yes. They've released during their campaigns. They release STL files. They release scenery, and they print it and sell it as well. It's the same as other people who are actually making and printing and selling their own models. I think there's an accessibility for people who can't necessarily afford the startup or
the start
cheaper.
It's for metal casting
for metal casting or even
resin, in it. At the end of the day, it's resin, in it. You get resin prints. Yeah. You can buy resin models. So it's just it's a cool thing. Yeah. The thing that really sold it for me, and it sounds really stupid, is there's no mold lines. I really like that. I know it sounds something really basic and simple, but the amount of time I've saved and the amount of smoothness these are now for not having mold lines on, it's insane. Do you know when you paint a mini and you haven't got to worry, you see a mold line, you go, oh, for God's sake.
Yeah, quite a lot. I mean, I do think that there is a question. I think someone in the chat said it, but I can't see it now. But there is a question of convenience.
Yeah, it keeps going quite quick.
You can say like, oh, it's friends of General Haig. He actually put it up. Oh, wait, no, that was Andy here. It strikes you as like owning a bread maker. You make delicious, lovely bread yourself, but convenience, it's great to be able to go to Tesco's and buy a loaf of Hovis.
It is. It is. Don't get me wrong. It is convenient to go and buy a load of minis. It is. But I tell you what, when times are hard like they are now for money over time, I just think if you genuinely are seriously thinking about, you want to keep your hobby up and everything like that, and you want to enjoy yourself, and you want the variety side of things. It's like the Battlefleet Gothic miniatures, right? They're sitting right there. Okay, some of those sell for stupid money, like £100 plus, because you can't get them, right? You go on to Thingiverse, it's called, and they're there for free, and you can just print them, and it costs like 20p. It's just insane. It's like that chunky metal one there. That's insane. That's like £100 plus. I wouldn't be able to afford to buy that, if that makes sense. But there's one that's on there that's very well, not exactly the same, but very similar. You know what I mean? So you don't want to rip off people. Then this is the other side of it: is it's ripping off people's IP. You do not want to be taking people's intellectual property. That's just not right. You know, if for example, if someone's made like these Marines, right? Someone's made those. Okay, someone's made those from scratch. Fair enough. That's what they've done. They've made them a little bit different. I like them. Well, that's fine with me. As long as they're not copying poses and stuff like that, and just outright copying models and their original models, I don't mind. I don't know how you guys feel on that. What's your sort of aspects of it?
What on the marine stuff? Do you mean?
Yeah, say like, well, I don't know. Where do you stop with that? Because you could say, right, a Roman. Okay, so Victrix have done a Roman, so that means you can't do a Roman in Centurion armor now because Victrix have made one.
I think the thing comes down to because there's no intellectual property on historical fact.
Yeah,
whereas there is intellectual property on things, you know, like say Warhammer 3000 or Lord of the Rings or stuff like that. You know, if I at the end of the day, you know, a beaky man in power armor is a space marine, whichever way you cut it. You know, it's a space marine. No one would have made that unless Games Workshop had made a beaky looking space marine in the first place. Whereas a Centurion or a Roman, you know, there's so many historical references and examples for those that there is no IP on that. If you made one that looked exactly the same, effectively, if you scan someone's miniature and then printed it out, then yes, there would be an argument for IP.
That's wrong.
But if you're the difference between sort of like a Roman or you know, if I went out and did say Batman. You know, it's like,
but then you say, see, this is an interesting one because people do like their own versions of Batman, but they use them. They don't sell them, for example. So this is the next one, right? So I'm not selling any of these boards. Obviously, these are mine. Okay, I'm never gonna. I won't sell these out of moral ground because I've printed them. But I use these as a proxy. For example, I like the poses that this is, and I can't get those poses, for example, with say what Games Workshop make. And I don't like I like the armor for these sort of things. But Games Workshop even say that if you've taken the time to 3D print something yourself and do it something yourself, as long as it's not a direct copy of their minis, you can use them, which is an interesting thing. You can actually use them. Yeah. What's your thought?
What do you? Sorry.
I'm in two minds. I think, like Andy said about the convenience, but for me, it's going to sound really strange. It would take away an exciting part. If I like kit bashing.
See, I thought you'd be all over it for the kit bashing, Steve.
No, it's what I like about kit bashing is rummaging through sprues and boxes and to find that arm, to find that. If I could just go and print it in half an hour. Where's the fun? Where's the excitement?
Yeah. I got you.
What's to stop? It's that for me is the big. If I got into it, I wouldn't be printing whole figures.
No, these aren't. No, see, this is the other cool thing is these aren't whole figures. So this is.
But I'm not gonna invest in something. Yeah, no, but
plastics.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be building sort of. I wouldn't be printing an entire squad of something.
Yeah,
it'd be so if I don't like metal crews, so I'd be 3D printing mortars and medium machine guns and things like that. Yeah. But for me, it takes away from the kit bashing thing. It does take away the.
Yeah, it's a big thing for you, isn't it?
I love spending hours going through boxes looking for that right arm. Do I have to swap that hand around? That for me is a part of the hobby I never want to lose.
Yeah.
And if I knew that I need an arm to fit that guy, or rather than going rummaging through there, I'll just go, see if there's a similar one, print it, and I'm done. I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. It doesn't, and I think it would be removing an aspect of the hobby that I love. And that is the foraging, the scrounging, looking. Sometimes I'll I'll look at a sprue and I'll order a sprue just for a couple of pieces off it, off eBay or something. And I think that to me is what one part of the hobby that I love, and I always will love. And I think having that, I mean, this is from someone that lives his entire life through Amazon. I get all my stuff delivered. I get shopping, wargaming stuff, TV, videos, everything's through Amazon. So there is that convenience aspect to modern life. But for me, sitting down and putting together actual kit bash plastic miniatures is a part of the hobby I don't want 3D printing to encroach on, if that makes sense.
Yeah. No, that's cool, man. That's fine. I think Bricker City sums up quite nicely. But if a company makes something I'm looking for, I'll go and buy it for the convenience. Like 15 mil World War II, I'm going to Battlefront. Outside of that, I'd be thinking about printing. For example, for me, the fins. Yeah. So the fins that I bought off a guy that's made those STL files. You can't get multi-pose fins anywhere apart from 3D printing. So that's why I've gone that. That's where I've gone that avenue for. It's an interesting one. It's definitely one of them, especially for different scales as well. It's like I've been looking at things like I'll try and share it 2 secs.
I think I take a very middling view on this. I think that it's again a bit like with certain things that we paint. I think it's a good addition to our hobby. I don't think it's going to get rid of anything. I still think that plastic miniatures and resin miniatures and metal miniatures will be produced, and I think it opens up stuff for new creators and and people to try things out. So
exactly. It's like
my sort of view on it.
It's like you're looking at stuff here. So you've got French Imperial Guard Napoleonics here, for example. Yeah, right. They look very basic. Okay, right. But it depends what mill you do them in. But you've got. If I go back, let me just go back. Can you still see my screen? Yeah.
Yeah.
2 secs. Let me see if it swaps. That swapped. Is it still set? Yeah, it swapped. Cool. So you've got 2 mil stuff here, yeah. So this is what I was talking about the other week. So really basic sort of miniatures. Okay, so if you wanted to do something like Waterloo or something like that in a 1-to-1 scale, you've got the option here. These are completely free. This isn't encroaching on anyone's IP or anything like that. This is just a way to just get some wargaming on the go, print them out, cheap and cheerful, right? But then you can have where is it? Oh, wrong way. So you've got things like this sort of stuff here. So this is something I was showing you, Martin, wasn't it? So trebuchet here, for example. Right, this guy's made this trebuchet. That's pretty cool. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he's just put it up for free, and you're like, well, that's something a bit different. And he's got like terrain and like he's got like a griffin and stuff like that here. It's just different bits and bobs. You got knights. You've got stuff that you've got terrain there. You've got like these for this Miller like this. It's 2.4 mil King and Parliament miniatures, right? So you could play. So I was looking at doing this for like English Civil War, maybe recreating the Battle of Cheriton, because I can't be bothered to paint 28 mil, but I would quite like to recreate that battle. So it's just loads of different bits and bobs, and that's the problem is you can get lost down rabbit holes with this sort of stuff. And it's insane. So you like this is all like someone's made these tanks and stuff like that. So they're just like customizable tanks, and it's just different stuff. You got Star Warsy sort of stuff. You got board game. That's another thing. Like these ones, these fantasy miniatures here. So you've got all these sort of like things for like D&D and that sort of stuff. So you got like little druids and stuff. For example, if I type in historical, if I just go,
I was going to bring up something Steve has said. He says, what the concern is the business taken away from the local hobby shop. I don't have any in Cambridge.
Yeah, anymore. This is true. No, you don't.
So I think if you've got local hobby shops, that's brilliant. But I also think it's a way to support sculptors who might not necessarily get their works.
Yeah, get their name.
It's a broad, but yeah, my I think the nearest hobby shop for me that isn't GW is, I think there's one in Ely, so about 16 miles away, but that's just off on the top of a bike shop and it sells a few Warlord bits.
Yeah. So there's some Romans there, yeah? Like real Romans, as I like to call them. And obviously you can scale these to whatever you like. So this is the other cool thing, is if the model's made in 28, you can scale it right down to 6 mil if you want 2 mil. You can scale it up. It won't look as good, but you can always scale down. It's not really a drama. So if you want to play at 20 mil, for example, you've got like 95th rifles and all that. But there's just anything you type. So like I just typed in British Army, yeah? You've got tank emplacements, timber reinforcement designs. You've got guys that have taken the time to, like, these ones are for sale, like a Japanese dug-in tank there. It's like $4. It's next to nothing. And you just end up printing out.
You see a lot of game creators using them as well, like printing off like test pieces and test examples for things. You see quite a bit of that as well. So
you see a lot of manufacturers now. Their initial first look at a miniature now is normally in resin, isn't it? 3D printed. So like, especially trains, if you go train wise, they do their first sort of like prototype in resin.
Speaking of manufacturers, should we do a bit of news?
I think we should.
It's 9:15.
Bloody hell.
Do you guys have any news, or is it just me?
It's probably all you, mate, to be fair.
It's probably on me. Okay. Well, I tried. Well, there were some obvious things which I decided to leave off. Now, if Dom covered any of this last week, I apologise. I skipped through the news section when that came on. But some of the things I've seen, obviously, Great Escape Games have got their Norwegian Kickstarter going.
Yes.
And it's very cool. They've got quite a lot of stretch goals up now. There's lots of like different emplacements and gun teams and guys with skis, and yeah, it's all very, very.
These
cool.
metal, are they mine?
Yeah. These are all metal. It's great. It's Great Escape Games. It's all metal. Although, of course, they do plastic cowboys and things like that. So, but yeah. So, I think the Kickstarter's still got about 15 days left on it. I think it's broken the goal, so they're getting done. There's all sorts of packs on there, and I think the next stretch goal is for I think it's a mortar team, and I think they might have actually just broken that just before we came on. I did take a look. So yeah, go check them out. Great Escape Games, very cool. Speaking of Kickstarter, for those of you who are at Crackcon and those of you like your RPGs, when we were in the pub, I was talking to some of the guys about the game Gen Lab Alpha, which is essentially a game about a role-playing game about animals that have been experimented on that have then gone through a nuclear apocalypse and gained proper sentience and start walking around, and a bit Planet of the Apes, but with all sorts of animals. Well, they've actually now they're on for a war game. So basically, imagine Burrows and Badgers, but post-apocalyptic. But that's on Kickstarter as well, and that is smashed through all its goals. I think it raised like 80,000 in like the first day or something like that. So yeah, the whole system is called Year Zero. It's a post-apocalyptic thing. There's mutants, there's animal mutants, there's robots. If that's your bag, then that might be worth checking out for those of you who like that. So that's Zone Wars over on Kickstarter. Gripping Beast have shown off some of their Parthian cataphracts that are going to be coming out. Now, essentially, from what I understand, well, I think these, from what I read and from what I gather, I think these are just the late Roman cataphracts, but with different heads. I'm pretty sure. But these are the early production things. What do you call them? Tests, I guess. But these will be coming out, I think, before the end of the year. So you have lots of very, very spiky cavalry. Also very good for Dux Britanniarum and later Roman stuff, which seems to be hitting quite a lot at the moment. Agama Miniatures. Now, Dom showed off some 3D stuff, didn't he? I can't remember if that was last week or the week before, but they have got some more metal Carthaginians coming in, which is nice to see. Now, these I think were 3D sculpted, and then obviously they cast in metal. So very, very nice. Which is still shields. I do like a nice Carthaginian shield, absolutely. This is very cool. Now I was listening to the end of the stream, Lee's Battle Bunker stream last night with Alex. I just caught the end of it, and they were talking about Star Wars, and that made me chuckle because I then saw this. So there's two things. So first of all, those of you who like your Star Wars, there's the Mandalorian and the new book of Boba Fett. There's a new Boba Fett miniature coming out, which is him with the gaffy stick, all angry. If you like that, I quite like that model. I'd buy that to paint that, to be honest, because I'm a sucker for Star Wars. So that goes. I think it's about 15 quid, along with all his rules and everything like that, and all the other bits that come with him. And then there's this, right, which is a crashed piece of X-wing scenery. So a crashed X-wing, right? I think it comes with some cards and some
you got
missions.
a pilot there.
You got a pilot. How much do you think that is?
I dread to think.
Oh yeah, I dread to think. 20
quid. 20 quid gone, Steve.
30 quid.
30?
Yeah.
Okay. So it retails at 90.
And they wonder why there's things called 3D prints.
So you can get it third party for about 70. But I can't remember which
Why
the
wouldn't you just
manufacturer
buy?
was.
I saw a full-size X-wing. You could just buy.
I saw a manufacturer. Someone put tweeted or reposted something from a manufacturer. I think it might have been Chaos Cards or similar one who put this up saying this is now in stock. I don't know why anyone is going to buy it.
There you go.
So that's cool. So I thought that was quite cool. I was like, there's this thing which I really like and think is cool.
Yeah, that's
and
really
then,
cool.
and then there's this thing which
that's ridiculous.
Gave me palpitations. Anyway, and then the last bit of news I got over at Bad Squiddo, Annie has done some Men of the Royal Artillery in Panto dress, which I thought was very cool, and I might have to pick up for a game of 0-200 hours and use the sentries and get the Fallschirmjäger to attack or something, which I thought was great fun. So Bad Squiddo,
there you go, num paratroopers. That's what you need. Num paratroopers.
Exactly. So a little bit of news, there.
Cool,
so
I found out which I don't know whether it's. I mean, I know we knew. I don't know whether the date was ever announced on here. Do you know the plastic the starter box of Blood and Plunder?
Yeah.
It's being released on the 30th of December this year.
Oh, okay.
So that might be my Christmas present to myself. Because, well, it looks quite good. You get a bunch of pirates, 2 characters, couple of ships, rule book, tokens, dice. It looks really, really good. So I might have to treat myself to that.
I do keep seeing that set. And there's multiple people now. Like, do you want to go halves on it? I've got at least 3 people who said, do you want to go halves on it? I'm resisting. One of whom is my wife.
She really did enjoy that, didn't she? At Crackcon?
She did at Crackcon. Speaking of Crackcon, should we?
Yeah, should we have a
chat? I'm just going through the chat. Miller, was that Daffy Duck? I think it was.
Yes.
I think it was. Sorry, I'm just going over it. There we go. Right. So yeah, where do you want to start with Crackcon? It happened.
Oh, just quickly, 2 sets, Shakings and Sprue. He just had some news. War Games are releasing a digital range very soon. That's quite interesting to know.
And Mark has just put up another thing saying Blood and Plunder is £95. Compare that to the crashed X-wing.
Yes, exactly.
What would you choose, lads? What do you think about that?
Oh, the X-wing, obviously.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I like X-wings. Prefer them when they're flying and not crashed, and obviously
and you can actually do something with them.
Yes, sorry. So yeah, anyway, we're gonna have a Crackcon was incredibly successful. They've all been successful. So this one. So we're still totting up all of the takings for the raffle and the t-shirts, everything like that, for the charity. So hopefully by next week or the week after, we should have a final total for how much we raised. But I think it's going to be in excess of 500. I think. Just looking at everything at the moment, there's various numbers that are flying around, but of course there's still a few things that we have to take into account.
Our chief financial officer's not here at the moment, is he?
Do you mean the bank? You mean the bank?
The
Yes,
bank.
The bank.
Yes.
The bank. Yes, the bank. There's a group that you're not part of where me and Dom just share stuff about the finances. We don't include you in that.
Oh, that's nice.
No, exactly. That's why everything runs smoothly and there's money to give to charity. And no one ended up with like tender boxes in their goodie bags. Apart from me, who in the raffle won all the shit you didn't want. Even though you ended up with the stuff I didn't want, was a complete pack of Victrix early Romans and all the shield transfers. I ended up with a handful of your half melted, half broken Warhammer. Do you know I binned them?
Though.
I binned them. I binned them.
Oh, that's nice.
I binned them. I actually felt that it was actually a greater service because I was like, what I'm going to do? They're just going to take up space that I don't have. And I know you were incredibly happy that was me. So yes, the raffle. Thank you to everybody who took the time to donate to the raffle, especially the people who couldn't come to Crackcon and those who took the time to paint things up. There were some brilliant prizes in there, and everyone who brought prizes along, thank you very, very, very much. And just everybody who helped out. The day was very, very successful. There were multiple games. I think the thing that I found the funniest about the whole day was that the big ECW game, I think, was over before my first game of 0-200 hours.
Yeah, there was a very upset Miller about that.
Well, it was just both wings of cavalry got crushed, and I believe Parliament was fleeing off the table. I'll share this. That was my 0-200 hours table with some terrain kindly lent to me in the form of buildings by Kev, just so I could run. I ended up doing 3-4 demos of this. I know that Stuart sold out of all the start sets, so I assume that went all right because he sold out. I think he had one expansion set left, and that was it. But he sold out the others, so I assume it went well. We had some good fun playing that, though I have to say a big thank you to Robin because I kept on stealing his smoke markers from his game against Ken.
Yeah, he did.
But they looked better on my board, quite frankly. I think they look better. Robin's board was amazing. Robin's board was amazing. I don't know if Robin's got a little confession to make to you actually in the chat. I don't know if he's watching, so I've seen him.
What's he done?
No, it was great. And then so downstairs we had English Civil War. Of course, we had the Mortimer's Cross game. Don, Leslie, Steve, and Tim and his son were on, which just looked awesome. I'm just trying to think what other games we had downstairs. Pulp Alley that Paul Richards put on. That was a cracking game. That was brilliant fun. I really enjoyed that. Consider I'd read about it, but it's something that I'd love to run, and I think I'd quite like to run it like because you could just do sort of it's almost this cross between a role playing game and miniatures war game. I quite enjoyed that. Of course, Burrows and Badgers. Luke brought with him 30 odd miniatures to give away that Michael Lovejoy had sent to him, and I think he was left with 2. So that was 28 people who took part in that. So it's a big thank you to Luke for putting that on, and everyone who put on games actually. And then upstairs, when I eventually got up there, was carnage. There was blood and plunder. Was it blood and plunder? Was blood and steel being played? I can't remember. Action. There was bolt action. There was some tiny scale in the corner. There was a sharp practice. There was all sorts upstairs.
What was Matt Mel playing? He was playing Franco.
No, Franco. It was Franco-Prussian War, but I can't remember if it was Blood and Steel or Sharp Practice that they were using.
I think it was Blood and Steel.
I think it was Blood and Steel. Yeah, I think you're right. I think you are right. I think it was. Yeah, because I don't remember seeing any cards per se. But yeah, the Burrows and It all looked really cool though, didn't it? The whole everything just looked nice. It's just
It was a brilliant day. So
Yeah.
it was. John said, any news on the dice? Those can go and want more. Yes, if there are people still interested, then I can do that. I'll put a post up in the Facebook group, gather interest, and then I can get some ordered, and we can send those out and add those to the tally. I had to include this because, of course, we did get the pub trip. And Ken, you were eating you were having a burger on the Friday night, and I got that. And I think it was because didn't you end up with like extra onion rings or something?
60.
And you weren't gonna.
Oh yeah, shit! I was really drunk, wasn't I?
On 2 pints, yeah.
Yeah.
And you weren't gonna tell her. I was gonna tell her that she give you too many onion rings, and that was the response I got, ladies and gentlemen. But it was a great knees up, and then of course everybody Hayley and Jill who steps off, who sorted out the many raffle tickets, and then Hayley obviously sorted us all out going for a curry, and this was the gathering in the travel lodge.
Yes,
before we did take that over.
They now know that we come like once or twice a year. She goes, you should know this by now. She was saying to one of the people, they come like once or twice a year. And do you remember the lady that's the lady that likes cosplay?
Yep. I think we should just leave that there. And yeah, just a great time. So thank you. Here you go, Robin. So Robin, Ken, this is for you. 1 second. Ken was pleased when the Stuka arrived to the tabletop was attached as many as possible, me keeping the air attack chit in his pocket until it was most needed. He told me this. He spent all that time painting that Stuka. There was no way it wasn't going to turn up.
Oh, okay.
There was absolutely no way that wasn't.
What, he had it in his pocket?
Yeah.
What an arsehole.
He was. Hang
on, didn't I pull it?
Possibly, I don't know. I just know that he spent so much time working.
Oh
on
no,
the
he pulled it.
Yeah. He said that there was no way that wasn't going to turn up in his game. So it may have been fixed, but I think it was a worthy fix because the Stuka did look cool once he got his explosions back. And Steve, how did your games go? Because you were doing bolt action, weren't you?
The first game I got absolutely annihilated by Rich. I've never seen a turn 4 collapse like it. Let's put it that way. I was running late war Germans, mostly inexperienced, against Rich's really awesome partisan force. And it was first couple of turns back and forth. I was doing my obligatory crappy dice rolling, and then turn 4, I lost 3 sections in 1 turn. And sort of it went a bit downhill from there. Actually, bit of a tactical disaster. I started off, but I thought it started off well because he's got this bloody gnarly Jeep, and it fires about 25 dice because it's got Vickers K's all over it. Mm-hmm. So I thought, right, that's not going to survive long. So I jumped out one of my Panzerschreck over the hedge, fired, boom, killed it. I thought this is going to be fantastic. That was the last successful thing that happened for me, and that was the second turn. It was an absolute. That's what I said last week about. It was the first time I'd used my PCP dice, and they were shocking. Absolutely,
mine were good.
I have heard this about the PCP dice. So those of you that want them, you better beware. But my favorite thing in my game, I think it was in the first game I played, and I think it was Sam who played the Germans, and the alarm had been raised on one side of the board, so he was sending his officer across, but a very well placed sniper just kept on taking out everyone who walked across it. So there was just this pile of dead bodies piling up as the officer, then the sergeant, and then someone else just went past. So there was some really good moments. Of course, we had Storm of Steel, Alex in the corner with Yayo Group, which I didn't get to see as much as one because I kept on getting I say dragged. I kept on going back to do more 0-200, which was great fun. And of course, the big one I've forgotten is Ian put on that massive
windy boat game.
The massive windy boat game.
Windy boat game.
when my favorite moment of that is still when Haley turned up and went, "I like your boats," and he just looks so offended. He goes, "These
He
aren't
looks
boats.
so pissed off,
They're
doesn't he?
shit."
They're ships.
They're shit. But a big thank you. But they looked after us as always, and
As
we
always,
just hope
man.
everyone had a good time. Shaco said he confirmed the PCP dice appear to be Dom's rejects. Fortunately, I didn't have to play a game with Dom, so I didn't have to look at any dice swapping because that might have been that might have sent me over the
There
edge.
was dice swapping going on.
Oh,
There was
can
dice
I just say,
Uh,
like many people, I made my way there on the Friday. Journey from hell, let's be honest. Journey from hell. I had to run. I literally ran for the first time since I was about 13 years old. It was terrible. But the highlight of my Friday was this, without a shadow of a doubt. I saw that.
I mean, if that doesn't scream, you know.
How far is that from the Travel Lodge?
You massive. No, that's in. I think Kev confirmed that's in Stoke, or just outside Stoke.
I love the
on
boarded up window. That's.
I mean, let's face it.
Yeah,
Does what it says.
The camera as well, dude, in the background.
Yeah, but it just does what it says on the sign. Come on.
I've got to give big shout out to Andy's Fury game because he actually had Fury on in the background, and that
he did.
was amazing. And just for seeing it's so sorry, Alex. It's just.
And this one I didn't host this week.
Alex said that's you got a photo of his house.
Yes.
It was awesome. So many games. So of course, guys. Now let's talk the next one. The next one is not going to be for a while. It probably won't be until at least the summer, if not after. So it is a little bit of planning to be done. Those of you who want to put on games, like Ken, who's actually going to host a game next time for the first time, we'll be putting on one for definite. So Ken's got.
I am actually. I am. We're going to play Bolter Action.
There you go. There you go.
There you go. You heard it.
And also yes, Alex is already confirmed that he's going to be doing Star Wars Chain of Command next time. And if you want to see a good show report, James from Shakos and Sprues, he's done a full show report on that. So go and have a look. And
yes, he has, and it was
it's very awesome
cool
video.
I will say, there have been some rumblings. I can't remember if I had them with Ken or that sounds a bit weird. Because of that picture, we've been having a chat. There might be the possibility of some smaller gaming events, but not like a Crackcon, not like a full gaming day. But there might be maybe a few of us who want to meet up and maybe do like a Wars of the Roses day, or like 2 days and fight some linked battles, or a Saga day, or a Bolt Action, something like that. Or an O group, something like that, where there's less people who want to do that, and there's you maybe go. We stay on the Saturday night. We do something on the Saturday and the Sunday. So there might be some things happening before the next Crackcon. The PCP presents, something like that.
A light version. But
a light version, yeah.
I want to point this out and make Ken a very happy man, because look, Ken, MDF as a paint palette. You didn't print your print palette?
Ken, when are you planning to print paint?
Yeah, that'd be nice, wouldn't it? Yeah. So, oh dear, fucking hell, yeah.
Just on the thing about additional gaming things, there's a sort of not an offshoot, but we for people based in the north, there's a few of us that are in a group called the Northern Crackheads, which just sounds absolutely terrible. But again, we'd like to expand that. If people are in the north and like to get together for some games. Yeah, we could raise it in the Facebook group. Which we hit 800 members in the Facebook group.
We did. That is a massive thing.
We
did. Did you find anything of 800 historically?
I did, and then I kind of felt like we couldn't share it because it was basically an atrocity. So I did. So I didn't really feel. I kind of looked at it and I thought about it for a little while, and I was sort of looking at it going. I was like, if we're the 800, I was like, no, the 800 people definitely weren't on the right side, if that makes
Right.
Okay.
sense. It's not that recent. It's nothing that recent. It's got, but even then, I was still sort of like, yeah.
No.
So I'm still on the lookout. I'm still on the lookout.
Can I say, Jonas? No, not as north as you, mate.
Still more
Jonas,
north. Still more north.
Hobgoblin IPA. I finally got round to opening it.
North.
Red Stuff, crack down south.
We should make a crack. We should.
That sounds like a night in the Tiber Club.
Oh, don't. That does not sound good at all. Yeah. So, final roundup then before we call tonight's stream off. I've completely forgotten the thingies, so we'll do that. No, there won't be any pictures this week. It's not because I've plus I completely forgot, and I apologise for that. But it was more the fact that Martin said to me, he goes, I've got like 24 pictures. You might want to wait uploading. And I was like, okay. And then I was meant to do it during the stream, but I've completely forgot because I got carried away. So apologies for that. Martin will do your pictures next week. I'm sure.
Yeah, I will, and we have a theme. Shall I put up what we've got coming up?
Yes, that would be good.
Yes.
We have. So this, everyone, is your Plastic Crack podcast menu for November. Obviously, tonight we are with Ken from Miniature Wargaming Warriors, and if he's done everything right, you can find the links to all of our channels down below. So please feel free to come along and subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Of course, you don't have to, but why not? On the next week, on the 14th, it's me, and I've picked, just because of something that I've noticed. Is streamlining rules. When is it too far? Now, this kind of stems from conversations that me and Robin have been having, and I've got to give Robin credit. It was actually him who was like, this would be pretty good for the PCP. This is why I think we were playing one of our games, and subsequently in sort of been chatting. But streamlining rules. When is it too far? Because I swear to God, every set of rules that comes out now says new streamlined combat system. Something has been streamlined. Does it even mean anything anymore? So we won't go into it now. We'll go into it next week. I'm sure there's going to be some lively debate around that. I just remember Dom's answer straight away, which he said, I want the biggest rule book known to man. Speaking of Dom, on the 21st, we're with him, which is how is technology going to change our hobby, which we touched on very briefly tonight. But I'm sure it will be touched on in a very Dom-like fashion. That doesn't mean with like a quill and parchment or anything. That just and then at the end of the month, we are with Steve for a PCP painting and basing clinic Q&A. So if you've got those questions about how Steve does his bases or how he's getting that amazing color on his DAC forces, save them up for then. If you want to know anything about like the crusading basing or whatever, save it all up and ask us then. Plus, I dare say we've got a few questions as well. I've got questions.
Yeah, I've got questions.
I'll save them then. I haven't just got questions to say. I've got questions for people in the group, but we'll obviously save this up for the end of the month. Now, of course, this is always subject to change through illness, or we do have a couple of people lined up. Do we have those? What's real life?
Yeah, we do this week. We do this weekend. I hope you do. Sunday's quite.
What's happening on Sunday? What's happening on Sunday? I'm going home on Sunday.
Yeah, in the morning before you go. You got to come and try suit on.
That's not why I'm coming up. I'm coming up because on the Friday we're going to a club, and on Saturday we're going to Warfare, and then on Sunday, I suppose, on the way to the station, I can try on a suit.
Yeah. To Laura, you'll come in to try on a suit.
Okay. I'm going on a lot of lack of sleep here, so the sarcasm is going to be quite high. But I'm looking forward to that. But of course, we have got a couple of guests lined up. Of course, we try to program these in with enough time to let everybody know good. But if it turns out being quite short notice, then those lineups may change slightly. Yeah. But we'll give you as much notice as possible. Plus, also, if there's anyone, any guests that people would like us to try and get on, let us know. Let us know on the Facebook group, or send us a message or an email. Or if you are indeed someone who would like to come on, then let us know, because it would be very cool. And as Don said, hit the like button. Sorry, lads, that was the bourbon.
That was the bourbon. That was the bourbon. Yeah, no, that's cool. So yeah, just a quick. Thank you very much, Mine. Just a quick roundup then. So for tonight, what is your honest opinion? Would you say? Well, I know what your answer is going to be, Martin. In the next year or the year to 5 years, do you see yourself owning a 3D printer? Yes or no?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Cool. Steve?
Yes, but for different reasons. For different reasons.
Yeah, year to 5 years.
I'd probably need. I'd need a new somewhere to live. This place just isn't set up for.
Ken will print you one. He'll print you one.
You're gonna print me a new apartment, Ken? That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that'd be cool, wouldn't it? Print you a new apartment.
Couldn't be any smaller than this place, honestly. Speaking of 3D printing, Ken, you're going to Warfare at the weekend, aren't you?
Certainly am.
What about the bring and buy?
There's a whole box there of stuff that's going in the bring and buy.
So you won't be buying anything from the bring and buy?
I very much doubt it, no. Unless I see something that's an absolute steal and I really want it. Like I might tell a lie, I might buy rules. So that's definitely a thing of rule sets.
The chat is overwhelmingly no.
Yeah,
no. Yeah, there's a yes. There's a yes in there. There's some yeses in there. I hate to say, yeah, I'll be picking one up for very, very different. Ken's reasons are absolutely valid. I'm picking mine up for completely different reasons that will be more obvious in a few months or weeks, depending on how things go. So there we go.
Is this the same thing that? Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
okay,
I know.
Yeah. Okay. No, that's cool. Yes.
I'm kind of say I'm quite chuffed with the color scheme I've used on these French crossbow types.
Yeah.
I've done green and like
types.
green and buff.
Oh, very nice. Buff, yeah, that's not bad. That's not a bad show. I'll tell you what though, we can confirm now though, because of these printers, I think we should make a thing to say in the next if you come to the next PCP, we will do a custom mini. I think we will print a custom mini for everyone that comes. I think we should do that. We'll do a PCP mini. Why not?
Yeah, we'll chat about that.
Nah, fuck it. We'll do it. Too late. I've committed.
That's all right. You can pay to sculpt it.
No. So, no, you don't need to. You don't need to. Trust me. I've already sorted something out. Don't worry. I know someone.
Everyone's getting a train.
I know somebody. So it's fine. But yeah, no. Yeah, I think we could sort something out. Even if we went on what's it called? My Mini Factory and made a custom thing on there, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? And then pay for the STL. Something like that. Anything.
It does open up a lot of possibilities. Everyone will get a crate. That's one thing everyone seems to be printed. Lots
or a box. You can have a box.
What's this? Hang on, I've just been accused of something.
Yeah, you have.
Martin, before we wrap up, I'm holding you and my mate accountable for getting me into Romano Britain's on 50 pages in. Good man. It's a fantastic book. Absolutely fantastic. I've actually seen because Dom's reading it and I'm rereading it at the minute because it's an absolute stonker of a book. I just hope that the TV series, which is going to be coming out soon, isn't pants. I just because I think The Last Kingdom is actually a good series. I like The Last Kingdom. I enjoy it for the entertainment it is, and I think it follows books, and I think it does a much better job than a lot of the historical TV series that are out there, are actually vaguely following some history and pointing to some historical figures who existed. My worry about The Winter King is that they're going to go when anyone does King Arthur, they tend to go too far down the whole magical thing. Merlin, well, he is in it, Merlin, but he's in it, and he's more of a druid. And the question is
he's not Gandalf,
is he? Has he done the eclipse, or does he know about the eclipse? Is it coincidence? Is it not? He's very clever in it. I encourage anyone who hasn't read or listened to The Winter King to listen to it. It's a brilliant novel. It'll definitely get the wargaming juices going, especially if you want to play Dux Britanniarum, which I do. And in the new year, we're going to be having some games of Dux, which I'm really, really looking forward to. That's
cool. So in regards to, say, just round up thing with 3D printing then. So obviously you're thinking about getting one. Would the point be to you, Steve, if I said to you, say for example, someone sold, I don't know, a bag of bits, like say like shite load of bits. So like I've got here like all these bits here, right, in my hand. Just did like a bag of bits of spears, arms, things, and bits and bobs for World War II stuff. Would that sort of thing interest you?
I don't know. For me, it's with kit bashing. I start off with my head how I want it to look.
Yep.
And then I go on the hunt. I go through bits boxes here and over there.
Yeah.
And normally what I'll do is I'll have 6 or 7 different. If I'm doing arms, and then I'll put them in front of me, and I'll try and make them work. And if they won't work, I'll try and chop them and make them work that way. If I've got to remove hands and add new hands, I'll do that. I can spend hours absolutely hours doing that. And at the end, I could have one figure built because it's taken me so long.
Yeah.
To get
it's your figure, isn't it?
It's my figure. It was like the night when I decided to make the LMGs for the DAC. I don't like prone figures, and all the LMGs in that DAC box are prone. So it was just a case of going through bits boxes, Germans, to find MG34s, and I did. I got it, and they look really nice. And what was really good is this one here, where it's the Fallschirmjäger arm. When I've removed the MG42 and added the 34 from the Blitzkrieg box. Nice. I think Sam did it as well. It was really weird seeing him do the same conversion. So it was
okay.
People are doing the same thing. They want different miniatures. They want to be, seeing what kits combine. Now I can certainly see where 3D printing could come into it.
Do you reckon it might take over those, Steve, at some point? You reckon maybe 10 years down the line it turns into a massive? It's now STL files compared to.
I mean, I think it inevitably, but there'll be. It's like it's
a transition period, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I've got a mate, and what he does, he does his own 3D printing because he's really quite good at it, and he designed and printed bits to turn his British infantry into plastic BEF, and they were fantastic.
Oh, nice! Oh, yeah.
And he's currently developing his own space combat game, and he's designed and printed his own ships for that. Very, very talented dude.
That's very cool.
I don't know. I just think back of the hours. I mean, I must sound like a right tragic case. The hours of pleasure that I've had going through boxes looking for different heads or different arms, different weapons, and just making them work. And it takes a while. I mean, I think eventually people will just go, well, I need that arm. I'll go on to like Blender or something. I'll develop my own. I'll develop it and print it, and there we go. There's my arm. Yoink, sorted. I don't know. It'd be like in Star Trek they've got the replicator. Is it a replicator?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think I'd rather make my own coffee than trust a machine to do it.
I'm just going to reply to something just up here. Of course, he's looking at using Lion Rampant second edition because there's not enough list building in Ducks. That is precisely why I like Ducks, because I hate list building. So
I don't like points. That's one of them things.
Points are crap. Points are shit.
Yeah.
Points are crap. Get rid of them. You don't need them. Who told you needed points? Who told you you needed points? Why do you need points? Warfare's not fair. I do like it. No, that's right, because I like Lion Rampant, and we'll come on to this next week actually. What I think of Lion Rampant. What the cool thing about Ducks is I like it is it's not about list building. The sort of narrative that builds up because you don't know what's going to join your force. As your force expands, you get reinforcements that you roll for. So you could be lucky and heavy cavalry might turn up, and that'll be what you're right. You can take heavy cavalry in the next game, but at the same time, the attrition on your forces, you have to go into the next battle with taking into account some of the losses that you suffered in the previous one. So you may have gained some heavy cavalry, but you might have lost 2 units. So it's like, I've got this awesome unit. Crap, I've got nothing else. So that's why I like it. So yeah. I just thought I'd bring up, but that's something again that I want to talk about next week with streamlining of rules and list building. No. List building, no. Oh my, no! You need to talk to my wife. I bet you. Do you like Excel as well?
We know a lady that likes Excel.
I got a sneaking suspicion. Cornish Crusade, do you like it? Do you like Excel? I've just got a sneaking suspicion. I just call it a hunch. But no, list building is cool, but it's. I mean, I used to make lists, but I obviously I've stopped. I mean, there are some games now where you have to do it to get a viable force. Like you get really in bolt action unless you're playing a scenario that's like a narrative scenario in a book. You have to do it. But I think most of the stuff I play now, I don't actually really list build. I mean,
I think X-Wing list building was a slightly completely different kettle of fish because it was all about you've got that 100 points. What can you use that for rather than just like normal army build list building? I used to enjoy the X-Wing list building, sitting down, cards everywhere. Man, there was like a look of agony on your face then.
I do like see, I'm actually quite partial to unit cards and attachments on cards because I find it easier than having them written and down in a book.
Yeah.
However, when the clutter on the table starts to build up, I start getting.
Do you know what? That used to when I used to do X-Wing tournaments. My card area was precision. Everything was as it. I remember playing against one bloke, and it was like he just got his cards and his tokens and just throw them. And every time he leant over, he'd stand up and there'd be tokens stuck to his arms. He'd be like, "Dude, this is just."
That's when it gets. Yeah, but that's when it gets too much.
I knew it. Absolutely, and you, Steph, and you. I saw that. I saw that as well. Oh, I absolutely. We'll talk about this next week. We'll talk about this next week.
Yeah, I've just got really confused because I know where all my paints are, and I've got olive green, and I put the wrong paint in the wrong thing, and my brain was going into overdrive trying to work out what was going on. But I get all confused.
I like that Alex's comes in sort of like the less clutter, the better.
It's true. It depends. It depends what you like, doesn't it? It's always nice to be able to have that room where you can have the gaming table one place and then all your clutter on somewhere else.
So you think with X-Wing, it is a clutter game because you've got your movement dials, you've got your templates, you've got your tokens, you've got your cards, you've got your upgrade cards.
Legion is the same.
Yeah, I've seen a few bat reps. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Epic can be the same, to be fair, though, can't it, Steve? There's a lot of cards.
Yeah, a lot of cards, and you got your order tokens as well. I think it's just an old school way of playing it, though. But I always used to with X-Wing. I used to just enjoy people who were logical and realised that things just had to be in the right place.
I think we should let Dom have that one. Dom, when you listen back to this, when you listen back, I think we'll just let you have that one, just because of it. No, nothing bad. Just
not your cup of tea.
Just a comment about the next PCP OPC challenge. Nothing bad.
Yeah.
I love that. Cheers, Dom. Don't really.
Do you know what? I didn't mention the one thing that puts people off 3D printing: leveling the bed. People can find that really off-putting. If you don't get the bed level right. What the fuck are you laughing at now?
No, I thought you were going to be really self-deprecating and say the one thing that puts people off 3D printing. Me! I thought you were going to be really self-deprecating. I thought you were actually building. No, I thought you were building. I genuinely thought you were building up for a punch.
No. We've got 2 minutes. So leveling the bed really puts people off, and it's not. You can understand why, because like Steve's probably gonna know what the fuck is that. It's when it comes down to the screen, Steve. So normally,
I know what it is.
Yeah. But I thought today, right, because I have some more of these spare FEP sheets, the plastic film. I thought, well, why don't I just use one of them? Because it's the right thickness, isn't it, for what the FEP's actually going to be? So I just used one of those, and it was quite straightforward, actually. It's got a lot easier than it used to be. Let's put it that way. There's loads of videos out there to do it, but it's literally push it down, hold it in place, tighten up, don't let it move. And if the paper doesn't move or the FEP thing doesn't move, it's nice and tight. And then happy days, you're good to go. What should we print next week, Martin? What should I have printed for bolter action, as I should call it? I'm actually going to do that. I think I'm actually going to do 2 forces for bolter action. I'm going to do it. Fuck it. Let's do it. There you go. That gives me something to do, doesn't it? Ken, 3D puts me off. Yeah, it does.
3D game bits do.
Cheers, Dom. Thanks for that.
Hopefully, we can see that Dom has survived his trip to Toon. So hopefully,
but he's got to survive all night, hasn't he?
Well, I assume he's holed up safely in his travel lodge now.
You would hope so.
With a creative Nuki, a creative Nuki Brown and some tabs.
Oh,
as you can tell, I read Viz when I was younger.
We can tell.
The Viz Profanosaurus is a regular inclusion in all our site huts at work where we're sitting there in the rain. The Viz Profanosaurus is there on the side, just for those those coffee breaks, or when like, especially as I understand. Obviously, I haven't been outside this week because I've been told I'm not going to work at the moment by my wife, my business partner, and by my doctor. They've all been basically rained off. They're all just sitting in the site hut, drinking coffee and reading the Viz Profanosaurus.
Send them home.
To archaeology. Welcome to archaeology. Because it might stop raining.
Oh, true. Yeah, but do you have to pay him if you send them home?
Well, I pay them anyway because I'm a nice employer.
You're too nice. On that bombshell, we'll see you lot next week. Have a good evening, yeah?
All right.
Let's make sure we get the right outro. Yeah.